All praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. And this is going to be a lesson on how there's no such thing as cheating, man. Right? There's no such thing as cheating. It's either adultery or not. Right? There's no such thing as cheating. It's either adultery or it's not adultery. Right? And this is going to be talking about this trend of women always continually talking about how men are cheating this, men are cheating that, right? But are forgetting that they're actually really the only ones in this world, for the most part, among our nation, that have really been the ones, like women. If a woman's not not a virgin anymore, right? Every single man that she's ever slept with after the man that took her virginity, every single one of those cases is considered adultery. Whereas after a man loses his virginity, right, which a man's virginity isn't worth nothing in this world anyway. Nobody don't care about, there's not no tokens of virginity for a man. People could care less about whether a man's a virgin or not. In fact, women would rather prefer, as far as I've seen, they'd rather him not be one, right? But anyway, every single time when a man sleeps with a woman, that's not necessarily adultery, right? That's not adult. If a man loses his virginity to one woman and then sleeps with the next woman, and that woman also has never been with a man before, that's not adultery. Neither is it cheating if that woman's not been with nobody else before. Whereas if a woman loses her virginity, so now she's got a body count of one, anybody else that she sleeps with, as long as that first man is still alive, that is adultery. And in this society that we live in, a lot of these women have a body count like mid double figures, like 50, give or take 10. And that's just the facts of things, right? So what this lesson's about is that there's no such thing as cheating. It's either adultery or it's not, man, right? This is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery, right? Now, what this world tries to call adultery is a man sleeping with any other woman beside the woman that he's with, or a woman sleeping with any other man besides the man that she's with, right? And if you're in a relationship with somebody, you can't sleep with somebody else. But here's the thing: according to the Bible, a man's allowed more than one wife. Now, people can get as emotional as they want to get about it, and women can say whatever they want to say about men are cheating this and men are cheating that. He ain't cheating. All them women that he's getting them fair and square, man. He ain't cheating. He used his game, whatever you so-called women want to talk all these game stuff. She liked him and he didn't even need to use no game. Whatever it was that happened, she liked his hair, she liked his beard, she liked his jawline, she liked the way how he walks, she liked the way how he talks, she liked his career, she liked his bank balance, right? She liked that she liked that he was with you and wanted to sleep with him to prove that she's just attractive as you. Because let's not pretend that women don't do that in this world neither. She liked that he was attractive to more than one woman and wanted to try and prove that she's just as attractive as all other women. So she threw herself at him, right? And he got it fair and square. There weren't no cheating involved in that. He got it fair and square, man. Now, was it adultery? If that woman was being with another man in her life, then it was adultery. But if there's a man that slept with 1,000 women in his lifetime, right? His first wife can't say, oh, he committed adultery on me 999 times. No, he didn't. He cheated on me 999 times. If all them women that he slept with before, after you, were virgins, he never cheated on nothing. He never committed no adultery neither. But this society don't want to accept that, right? But then at the same time, women love sleeping with men that are married. Women love sleeping with men that are married. Women love dealing with a man that they know has got a woman. They love it. They can't get enough of that. That's their main go-to if they have a choice. If they have a choice with a man that's handsome and he's single and ain't got no woman versus a man that's handsome and he's got a woman, they're going to choose the man that's got the woman. Because then they like the little, more back and forth competition between us. Just like how Rachel and Leah was enjoying their little competition that they was doing with Jacob, man. That was fun for them, really. They actually enjoyed doing that, man. They enjoy trying to get pregnant continually to try and prove and to find out which one Jacob loves the most. They liked doing that, which he loved Rachel the most anyway. That's in the scriptures. But the point I'm making is the hypocrisy of what women try and come with about this whole men cheating thing. But he ain't cheating, man. He got it fair and square. If it's not adultery, all this cheating stuff that y'all want to come with, rebuke that, bro. That's BS. Because you women, if we're talking about cheating and adultery, you women are the heavyweight champions of that. Because some of you women, you might think, oh, only got a body count of 5. What do you mean only? That's 5 times you've committed the sin of adultery and are worthy of death 5 times, according to the eyes of Yahweh. Not no only. That's 5 times where you've been worthy of death. This is Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife. So Exodus 20, when it goes into the 10 commandments, Leviticus 20 and 10 goes into the details of what adultery actually is. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife. Now, it's not like a woman might say, oh, but my man slept with another man or something like that. A woman might say, but what about these down low brothers? Well, that's a whole nother entire sin. That's the sin of Leviticus 20 and 13 that man's committed, and that's also worthy of death. But a man cannot ever commit adultery on his woman, right? He's committing adultery with another man's wife. The offense is really done towards another man. The offense is never really done towards the woman. The sin of adultery. And I've been thinking about this, man, because it's one of the main things that women like to blab their mouth off about. But then they're so down with the Lord. They're so down with Yahweh. They're so down with Yahweh Shai. There's so much belief in the scriptures. But as soon as this law starts getting brought out to their ears, all of a sudden they don't know nothing no more. And that was back in Bible times. Oh, that's only for the kingdom. But everything where it talks about you having to do things as a man is for now, though. But everything else that speaks about what a man's supposed to be able to have in this world, that's for the kingdom. But the things that they might get a benefit out of, oh, that's for now. Nah. Leviticus chapter 20, and men don't even care with how annoying you women are. If men wasn't even righteous to a certain degree, they wouldn't even want some of the time the wife that they got now, man. If Yahweh could just put the spirit on them now, just be like, man, not even to even have no kind of care for anything to do with women. Men would to be happy to have that until the kingdom to a certain degree, man. Not full the way, but to a certain degree. We'd like to be able to damn near turn the care for women off for a time, man. So that we can just focus on the scriptures and focus on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 10, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. So when you're reading this, the offense of adultery, right, is done against another man, by a man. One Israelite man has committed another sin against another Israelite man, and that wife has also committed a sin against her husband. But there's never a situation where the adultery of a man is where he's committed adultery and committed a sin against his own wife. It doesn't say, and the man that committed adultery with another man's, and the man that committed adultery, and the woman that committed adultery with another man's wife, right? He have committed adultery with his neighbor's wife. The adulterer and the adulteress shall be put to death. The offense is against men. Adultery is something that's against men. And let's prove that further, because when you go into the details of adultery, it goes into how jealousy is the rage of man, because the sin of adultery is committed against men. The woman's betrayed her husband, and another man has betrayed the second of the top 2 things in the commandments, to love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? Meaning you won't do to an Israelite something that you don't want them to do to you, right? Adultery is adultery in this world, yeah, would literally make a man not even compliment his own fellow Israelite brother. He might just be walking down the street and see his own fellow Israelite brother and be like, oh man, he's swagging out today, and be like, oh, but that you're doing your thing, man. I like how you're doing your thing. And he might be with his woman and he might be like, I'm not even going to compliment this guy or even treat this guy with any kind of respect, because my woman's going to start thinking, oh, this guy is so much more, this guy must be better than this guy then. So now I want this guy because women are covetous. Women are covetous and they always got that wandering, tinkling, twinkling eye. But back to this on how adultery is a sin that's committed against men. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 32. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. A wound and a dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of man, right? Adultery is a sin committed against a man. When a woman goes out and sleeps with another man, she's committing the sin of adultery against her man, and the man that slept with her is also committing adultery against that woman's husband as well. He's committing a sin against his own fellow Israelite brother, or against another man in general, because it's the adult sin of adultery is not just a thing that Israelites have to obey in regard to the other Israelites, right? You're not allowed to just, oh, that man's a heathen, so I can sleep with his wife. And the thing is, I can't prove this, but I can almost guarantee there's been situations out there where some of these slippery heathen women have got around Jake, brothers in the truth, and they wanted to try and throw something their way, and that brother had to reject that because he loves Yahweh with all his heart and with all his soul. And even though that person's a heathen that we believe or that he believes is going to go into captivity, you still can't sleep with that man's wife. Now, there's other laws in the Bible where if you go toward your enemy and you defeat them and you see a woman among that you would like to be a wife, and there's rules for that. Their nails get pared, their head gets trimmed for 30 days, nothing happens. So, but people would get emotional about that. People would say, "Oh, that's outrageous," but it's okay for a woman to do sleep with 1,000 men in one day in this society. And people are like, "But she can do what she wants to do." Yeah, okay, she can do whatever she wants to do to destroy herself, right? Let me carry on reading this, verse 34. For jealousy is the rage of man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts, because it's a sin against men. Adultery is a sin that's committed against another man, right? It's not a thing that's committed against women. It's a thing that women commit, right? Adultery is a thing that women commit and men commit it too. But when a woman sleeps with another man when she's got a husband, she is committing adultery on her husband. If a man sleeps with another woman while he's got a wife, depending on the circumstances, he's either committed adultery or he's gained another wife, right? And we as Hebrew Israelites, we have to understand these things because the day is going to come where we're going to be judging this on the earth. We're going to be judging this on the earth, so we're not supposed to be getting emotional about these things. We have to sing it real out here because the day is going to come where we're going to rule this earth, and among the heathen, we're going to be judging this. We're going to be judging adultery among the heathen. But first, we have to understand these things amongst our own nation in this carnal flesh that we're being given now. Because under the new covenant, we're going to have it perfectly anyway. There ain't going to be no debates on what adultery is among the Israelites when we're under the new covenant. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. So we're going to be judging adultery among the heathen in the kingdom. A woman starts, a heathen, we see among the heathen, it's going to be like this, man. If we see among the heathen, a woman spazzing out on her husband, and we're like, yo, what's up, man? Why are you slapping your husband in the face? He cheated on me. He cheated on me. Oh, did he though? Let's read the law, shall we? Hell, we're gonna pull up, man. He committed what on you? He committed adultery. Oh, so he slept with another man's wife, did he? Not well. No, she was a virgin. Oh well, he didn't commit nothing. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, man. He didn't commit nothing against you. Any more grievances? You people don't understand, man. We're gonna rule over y'all, man. And if you're an Israelite watching this, be happy, man. We're gonna rule over these people. Like after that 1,000 years of ass whooping that these heathen are gonna get, they're gonna go on there, as I've heard brothers call it, the pay as you go scheme, the pay as you go plan, right? And we're gonna judge over y'all. There ain't gonna be no pork, no swine, no shellfish, no shape ups. If you have a barbershop and we see anyone getting a shape up in there, judgment time. No tattoos. You ain't gonna be, oh, I want a tattoo for my dead homies. Word to moms. Dead homies. Put it on the dead homies. R.I.P. Mate, nah. No tattoos. No butterfly tattoo down your back for you women. No tramp stamps. Yeah. None of them weird skull and bent up posts, like big stretched out ears and all that stuff that y'all be doing. No septum nose rings, yeah? Because there's no cuttings in the flesh. Ain't gonna be no septum nose ring demons around here, man. They're gonna be judging up the scene. Or you, no adultery, don't you know that's his wife? Don't, in fact, don't even watch his wife's batty crease, man. That's a covetous. You covetous raw. Yo, fix up, Nilla. We're gonna be scanning this world, man, and patting it out. You can't do this. You can't do. And if they try and say, but who are you to judge? Who are you to judge us? Well, who are we to judge you? Who are we to judge you? Let's see. Who are we? Yo, let me get a scripture, man. Who are we to judge you? Who are you to judge? You're not doing the right thing your own self. You ain't righteous. Oh yeah? You think so? Let me get a scripture. Who are we gonna be to judge in that day? I'll show you who we're gonna be to judge, man. Because we know how you people think. Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 21. Thy people all shall be all righteous. That's who we're gonna be to judge. There ain't gonna be nothing that you're gonna find in our nation that you can say, oh, but who are you to judge? You're doing it yourself. You're telling us not to sleep with another man's wife, but you're doing it. No, we're not doing it. Actually, no, we're not. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. And let me get another scripture. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as you have my power commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. You ain't gonna be able to try and point your finger at us and say, these Israelites keep coming over our nation all the time and saying that we can't commit adultery, we can't eat pork, we can't do that. But who made them the boss of things? Who made, like, that's how the Israelites tried to do Moses. Who made you ruler and conqueror over us? You ain't my leader. And that's how these heathen might start thinking it even initially. Who are you to, on regular intervals, they're going to come with that stupidness. Who are you to tell me? Who are you to tell me? Who am we to tell you? Can you fly? Can you fly? Who am I to tell you? Look, watch me fly. Watch me fly real quick. Watch me teleport behind you. You mean, who are we to judge? You see them? Don't you see these chariots? Don't make me bring a chariot round here. What do you mean, who am I to judge? We're Israelites. That's who we are to judge. We're gods on the earth. And before we was in this state, we caught more hell than you with your little 100-year self could ever know. You think you're grown in this world because you're 43, mate. I'm 2005, bruh. You telling me? And as we transcend into the future, who are we to judge? Mate, you think you're old because you're 95. Mate, I'm 2 million years old. What do you mean, who am I to judge? You think you're catching something now? You know what we was catching in a place that you hadn't even heard of, called Babylon the Great. You know what we was going through there? You know what we was going through before we was in this state of being immortal? You know what we was going through? You know all the snares and traps that your forefathers tried to do to us, and we conquered all of that through Yahweh Shai. What do you mean, who are we to judge? We're the Israelites that are going to be continually ruling everywhere that you will ever go in your life. That's who we're going to be to judge. And we're saying adultery is not allowed. But what is adultery, though? Is sleeping with another man's wife. So if you're bored of only having one wife, you better get an arranged marriage sorted, bruh. Because if you catch you sleeping with another man's wife, well, guess what? We're going to find you and the judgment's going to come. It's not hard. You can have another wife, not another man's one. You gotta have your own second wife, third wife, not another man's one. And I don't care how nice how pretty. I don't care if you like how curly her hair is. I don't care if you like how straight her hair is. I don't care if you like her green eyes. I don't care if she laughs at all your stupid jokes. You shouldn't have been around her for you to tell her a joke. Verse 6, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. So in the sight of the nations, we're going to be continually keeping the laws under the new covenant, and it's going to be our wisdom and our understanding. So when we judge them, they're going to understand, damn, they was right to judge me, because when I see how they do things, I can't find a fault in there. And the results of what they're living like has literally made them be immortal. They literally are immortal. Like a heathen might take. Let's just say, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but let's just say in the kingdom, a heathen takes a picture of one of us. They just see us in the distance and they take a picture with a camera or something like that. I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but just let's say it was to happen, and that picture got shown through generation after generation. On that day, would like, man, one day grandpops saw one of the elect and he took a picture, and we've kept it on the wall ever since. 1,000 years later, when that heathens go and see that picture and their grandfather that took that picture is long and gone, if that same family of heathens end up seeing that same Israelite again, right, you know that he might still look as youthful as he did in that picture taken 1,000 years ago. That can't be said about nothing now. That can't be said now that 1,000 years from now you still look the same or better, or that you're even still alive in the first place. Methuselah lived 969 years old, but he ain't here now though. But imagine if he was though. Imagine if Moses was alive right now, and the story that you heard about with him taking the Israelites through the Exodus story, you could actually literally walk up to him and speak to him about that. And be like, man, Moses, what was it like, man? What did Pharaoh look like? Oh, that bitch ass motherfucker Pharaoh. Yeah, he was a lanky, Hamite looking motherfucker, man. Big, pitch black, demon looking motherfucker. Or what did the cucumbers taste like back there? Oh, yeah, there was some nice cucumbers, man. I almost understand why we wanted to go back for them. Imagine being able to have a conversation with Moses about what that was like. Because that's what it's going to be like in the kingdom for us. If we make it through anyway. For those Israelites that have been blessed enough to be of the elect and make it through, they're going to be able to literally talk about a time that's written in the scriptures. Oh, Grandpoppy, please can you tell me about the day of the Lord? I love it when you tell me the story of the day of the Lord. Can you please tell us again? And you might have 2,000 grandchildren in front of you, grandsons and granddaughters, sitting in a big field, man, surrounded by mountains with the sun shining in the background, man. And they're all just sitting there listening to you. And then one or two grandchildren sitting on your lap and you're on a rocking chair or whatever, and you're just telling them with your long beard flowing down past your belly, man. And then one grandchild's leaning their head on one shoulder and the other grandchild's leaning their head on the other shoulder, and then your thousands of wives in the background all smiling, looking at you with honor and glory. Like, oh, isn't he magnificent? Oh, isn't he great? And some of your sons in the background looking as well, like, man, dad's cool, man. That's the kind of things that we're hoping for. But mate, Pete, you got Eve complaining about some adultery and some cheating. He cheated on me. He cheated on me. That's what y'all are worried about. He cheated on me. When most of y'all women have not slept with only one man in your life, you've cheated on yourself. You understand me? You've cheated on yourself, mate. Or he cheated on me. I'm gonna leave him, and then the other guy that's been sliding up in my DMs, I'm gonna give him a go now. I'm gonna give him a try. I'm gonna give him some of this whop, which I've been planning on really giving him anyway. But I'm gonna pretend like I just found him out of the blue, and then he cheated on me now afterwards. And all men are the same. I don't know. But what was you doing in them time when you're talking about your man cheated this and cheated that? What were you doing, man? Who was you entertaining and setting up for a backup man so that after 2 weeks you can try and get with the next dude? What was you doing? But you didn't want to talk about he cheated on me. You cheated on the Yahweh. You understand? By cheating on the man that you're with, but you want to run up your mouths. Verse 7, for what nation is there so great who have Yahweh so nigh unto them, as Yahweh our powers in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? And that's why when we're ruling over these heathens in the kingdom, they ain't going to be able to question us about why we're saying what we're saying. We're going to become that rich man that when we speak, they extol it to the clouds. But we're also going to have the skill. And let me go to why I'm saying that, because we're going to have the riches and the skill to match, whereas Esau's got the riches, but not the skill, man. He ain't got the honor. He's been dishonorable in riches. So how much more in poverty? But we've been honorable more in poverty. So how much more in riches? Sirach chapter 10 and verse 30, the poor man is honored for his skill, and the rich man is honored for his riches. He that is honored in poverty, us the Israelites, how much more in riches? How much more are we going to be glorified when we've got the bank balance to match what thought process we say? How much more, man? And he that is dishonorable in riches, Esau, how much more in poverty? People don't like Esau now. So when he doesn't have the money anymore, what need would people have to talk to him? People kiss Esau's ass now because they're hoping, oh, I'm going to get a little business deal out of this. So I'll laugh at his dumb jokes and I'll side with Esau, but I don't like him though. But when he comes around, I'll just smile up and down with him. But when he leaves, I'm going to be cursing him and bunning him out, man. Talking all kinds of stuff, being like, man, his breath stinks, talking this and talking that about him. I'm not going to like them. If I can get away with talking my own home language and he doesn't understand what I'm saying, I'm going to be doing it right in front of him. That's how people treat Esau. But in the kingdom, we're going to have the ultimate honor, man. And adultery is one of the things that we're going to be judging. But what we're going to be allowing men to do is have multiple wives because it's in the scriptures. And as much as women don't want it to be in the scriptures, it's in there, right? As much as they want to say, nah, it's not in there. Men are not allowed. Whatever you want to try and come with, that ain't real. A man can have more than one wife, right? A man can have more. Let me find the scripture, man, where it says if a man take a second wife, but then that would be the same thing if a man take a third wife too. Where is that, man? Where is that law? I can't even think off the top of my head where that is right now. 22 and 5. Now this thing here, I'm gonna read this thing here, this law here, you know. But this is not going to be a thing that's actually, this is not even a thing really that's supposed to happen. And Yahweh Shai said that really it was never always that way from the beginning. But because of your wickedness, this law was put in place. Deuteronomy the 24 and verse 1. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he have done some uncleanness, because he have found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it her in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she's departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Now, really, Yahweh Shai said this. This is actually not really a thing that's supposed to even happen, right? It's in the law, and to a certain degrees, right now, Israelites, if they find their wife committing adultery and stuff like that, they can leave partly apart from her. But the scriptures say, and Paul's understanding that he was given from Yahweh Shai, and from the things that Yahweh Shai showed him anyway, was that, oh, if your woman wants to dwell with you, then just let it be, right? Then make her stay, because if you do depart from her, then you've caused her to commit adultery. Verse 33, and if the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife. Exactly. So it's not like, but in this world, that's how that happens though. Women will break up. Women will try and think they're slick, man. And that's why Yahweh put that law in Deuteronomy 22, man. Because women will think they're slick. They'll break up with their man, yeah, part-time, temporarily, go on freak off with a guy that they wanted to have some little adultery fling with, and then try and double back round and be like, oh, baby, I realised that I was just being stupid. We should just never talk about this again. But she was really just broke up with him temporarily to go and commit some adultery, man. And that's why how I put, and I'm gonna go to it, I'm gonna read verse 4 first, and then I'm gonna go to that place as well. Verse 4: Her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled, for that is abomination before Yahweh. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which Yahweh giveth thee for inheritance. So really, even that's off. And in the kingdom of heaven, that's definitely not going to be happening among the Israelites. And I would go so far as to say, I don't believe it's going to happen among the heathen, that we're going to even allow them to do no bill of divorcement neither. But we'll find out in the kingdom. I personally don't think that's going to happen. But we're going to find out. I know that we're not going to be committing no adultery among ourselves. Whatever woman ends up with a man in the kingdom, that's going to be her husband forever. Like, I don't think women actually understand how heavy that is. The man that you end up with as a wife in the kingdom of heaven, as long as you live, that's the only man you're ever going to deal with, So all you women out, and that's the perfect order of things. So all you women that think that it's off and it's hypocritical for a man to only be with one, for a woman to only be with one man, but a man can be with however many women he wants. You can say what you want to say. In the kingdom of heaven, a woman that ends up with an Israelite man, an Israelite woman that ends up with an Israelite man, that's the only man that she's gonna be with for eternity. And if you women have got a problem with that, well, enjoy this society that says it's okay for you to be a holding. Just enjoy this place, man, because that man is gonna be worth 1,000 men of this society. He's gonna be transcend 1,000,000 men of this society. He's gonna be way, way more valuable than any of the men in this society. He's gonna be even more valuable than his own self right now. He's gonna be even more 1,000, 1,000,000 times more valuable than his own current self right now. Now, let me go to this because I said the thing about women thinking they slick, right? And thinking, they can try and like commit some adultery and then try and be like, oh man, it's not what it seems like. And that's why how I put this law in there, man. Let me find it. Man. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. And people ain't gonna like this, but I don't care. This is the law, man. Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then both of them shall die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So thou shalt put away evil from Israel. And there it goes again. Adultery is a sin that's committed against a man. When adultery is committed, both a woman, the husband of both the wife of a husband and another random man, right, have committed a sin. So two people have committed a sin against a man. Adultery, right? The man broke another woman's contract with a woman, and the woman broke her contract with her man. That she was supposed to be his woman for his whole life. Because a woman can technically in her lifetime have slept with more than one man in her lifetime and not committed adultery, but a woman's not supposed to sleep with more than one man in her husband's lifetime. So let's say a man gets with a woman at 20 years old, let's say, and he dies at 40, and his wife was 20 when she met him, and now she's 40 years old, and she gets with another man. She's now slept with two men in her lifetime and committed adultery 0 times. And then let's say that husband lives another 20, now is 40, and he lives 20 years, and he dies at 60, and she gets another husband again and sleeps for that person. She would have slept with 3 men in her lifetime now and committed adultery 0 times because she didn't sleep with another man in her husband's lifetime, right? And that's what these women that want to talk all this cheating stuff don't understand. They'll think that they ain't cheating on no one because they broke up with their man. But in that breaking up with their man, what they think's breaking up with their man, no, that's you committing adultery and being a harlot. That's the scripture of thy wife should be a harlot in the streets. You're running out the streets around here. Some of these women in this world think that they're honorable. Oh, I broke up with him before I slept with his brother. Oh, I broke up with him before I slept with his best friend. No, you committed adultery and you committed adultery and you committed adultery and you committed adultery. You ain't honorable. You committed adultery, man. You're fighting out here. Gal them leg out, gal them lift out, gal them chest out, gal them batty crease hanging out, twerking in the clubs, farting it off, shaking what your mama gave you, being on some bad behavior. That's what you've been doing. Not being honorable and oh, but I broke up with him before. No. It's not the way you want it to be. Verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto her husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then he shall bring them both out of the gates of the city. Then ye shall bring them both out of the gates of the city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city. So does that sound harsh? It does, right? But here's the thing: women think they're slick in this world. So let's just say that a woman was betrothed, right? And this is not a pretty picture for all you people that don't want to think and consider on Yahweh's laws, but we have to sing it real out here. Let's just say, right, a father betroths his daughter to a woman, to a man that she don't want to be with, and she's thinking in her mind, oh, I want to be married to this other guy, right? But she's like, oh, but she tries to step out in the field and go where she knows that man's gonna be, and that man lies with her in the field. But she set it up for it to be that way because she wanted to be out there. Well, but she didn't scream out, so then no one knew it's happening. The law is, well, if it was something that you didn't want, you should have been screaming out so that you could get helped, so that this situation could not happen. But because you didn't scream out, we're assuming that you wanted this to take place. Because otherwise, how could we know that you didn't want this to take place? Because why wouldn't you scream out if you didn't want this to take place? It's in the law. So therefore, this law gets rid of women trying to think they slick. I'm going to commit adultery, and if I get caught, I'm going to say the man R-worded me. No, you're not. You better scream out. Otherwise, the same stones that sit in that guy are going to be hitting your ass too. Now, that sounds harsh, but that's the law, man. That's Yahweh's laws, and all you Christians out there, you want to try this black guy talking, these are absolute lunatic. Well, how do you explain this scripture then? Oh, but that's the Old Testament. Okay, in the Old Testament or whatever you want to try and come with, how should it be interpreted? How were the Israelites keeping this law? And let me ask another question. Was one of the reasons why Yahweh had to come and die for the sins of Israel because they weren't keeping this law properly? Because you do know that if this situation took place and they decided to spare any of the two people committing adultery, that would have been a sin, right? If in this situation they decided, oh, but the woman was taken by force, let's spare her because she didn't scream out. No, let's spare her because she was probably in shock. That would actually be a sin. You actually understand that, and that's why these Christians don't understand the mind they have. And I'm going to say it again. If in this situation that I read in Deuteronomy 22, verse 23 to verse 24, if the man only was stoned and the woman was spared, that would still be a sin. Because it says in the law that they're both supposed to get that. Now, am I saying that that's supposed to happen in this society? No, I'm not. All things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. But we know what we've read in the law. Verse 24 again. Then ye shall bring them out of the gates of the city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel because she cried not, being in the city, and the man because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put the evil away from among you. So in a situation where if the woman only would have died, for example, or been unalive, the man's still alive, he's an adulterer. So the evil's not put away from you. But in a situation where the woman's been able to get away with committing adultery on her man, right? Well, then the evil's still not put away from you. And we can see in this world how this law would cleanse part of the world, because there's plenty of time where women do things with men, they sleep with men of their own self wanting to do it. but then they cry R word, they cry SA and say, oh, this happened to me, oh, that happened to me, I was drunk, I was this, I was that. And then the man's now lost something in some way, but the woman's allowed to just be drunk around people that are also drunk, and then say, "Oh, I didn't know what was happening." Neither did the other drunk person know what was happening then too. Then, but the man doesn't get to have the "I was drunk" privilege. Only the woman. But in this law here, the woman can't even say, "I was in shock. I couldn't find my voice to scream out." Well, the stones then, and that's why you shouldn't have even been out there gallivanting up. You shouldn't even been out there gallivanting up to even be like, you know what I mean? Now there's a different separate law if the woman's found has something like that done to her where there wasn't anybody around for her to help her stop this from taking place, right? Verse 25, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, meaning somewhere that is secluded, right? And the man force her and lie with her, then only the man that lay with her shall die, because that's still adultery. And the other situations adultery as well. But that clause is put in there to stop women from trying to think they can be slick, because women will quick time when they get caught committing adultery, get caught getting a train ran on them and all kind of stuff in this world, and then try and claim, oh, it wasn't consensual, it wasn't consensual. No, you're a lying demon. It was consensual. In fact, you arranged the whole thing. That's how it is in this world. The women will be the first one to try and arrange something dodgy with mans. Like this whole GRLA Hebrew and all that thing, that situation that's been going on. He still had to find some wicked ass women to even do that stuff with him. He still had to actually be able to find women that was down for that wickedness, and of course, he's going to be able to find women being wicked, especially Israelite ones. Of course. Verse 26, but unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death, because in this situation, there wasn't nobody around to help her, right? But in the other situation, there was somebody around to help her. She could have screamed out and somebody would have been able to stop that man from doing what he tried to do to her. And that's why it gets rid of women trying to think they can be slick, man, and try and sleep around with men. And then when they get caught, man, it's mad. In this world, yeah, women literally get caught mid-stroke of adultery and be telling their man, it's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like, and then start blaming the man. But you was never this, and you was working too much, and you wasn't working in it, and you was doing this, and you was doing that, and then the man is made to seem like he's did something wrong. But that law in verse 24 gets rid of all that trying to be slick and trying to blame the man or trying to blame the other man and be like, oh, I didn't know and this and didn't this. And that's why in the kingdom, when we're in charge, men are going to have to be very intuitive, like on point with finding out whether a woman's got a man or not, because their life's going to depend on it, man. We ain't going to be just allowing adultery to slide, because we've seen in our lifetime now in this world how wicked just that alone has caused this world to be, man. And how much just that not being a thing can cleanse a society. Adultery truly is a wicked thing, man. Right? Verse 26, but unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth up against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter, because a man's naturally stronger than a woman. Right? Verse 27, for he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. Exactly. But in a situation where the woman could have cried out and she didn't, well, how do we know that she wasn't trying to be slick and trying to really, she set up the adultery and was enjoying the adultery, and it wasn't even nothing to do with her being R-worded, and she just got caught and try not scream out, and then was trying to commit adultery, really? Because women think they slick in this world. Women think they slick in general in this society, man. As we can see, they're quick to try and talk about down low men in this society, right? But what about all you down low women out there, man? All you men that are kissing your female friends all up in the mouth, grabbing their breasts, grabbing their ass, watching them get dressed and be naked and all that. That's part of LG3T, if you ask me. Because men don't watch their mans them get dressed and grabbing their ass and kissing their friends in the mouth. But all the things that women call men down low for, they don't call their own female friends down low for that. Hypocrisy. Right? That's also not allowed. Verse 28, if in fact, you know what, that's not even on the topic of it, but people don't like that law neither. Right? But that's not even for this lesson, to be honest with you. I'm gonna try and see. So lucky. I'm gonna try and see if I can find that law, man. But if a man takes another wife, I want to find that, because people try and always talk like they know the laws of Yahweh, and most of these people don't even considered the laws of Yahweh. They don't even consider why Yahweh said a man can have more than one wife. They don't even consider it. I don't know why I'm not able to find that law right now, man. It's like Deuteronomy something 18:5. Why am I not able to find that right now, man? It says, if a man take a second wife. Why am I not able to find it? Man, what the hell? Okay, here we go. This is good enough. Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 15. If a man have two wives, one beloved and one hated, right? And they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, but to try and please the wife that he loves more, man. He can't try, the wife I love more, I'm going to give her the children that I have by her a better inheritance. No, you got to do the honorable thing, man. Because that's not your son's fault that you don't like his mother more. And it's also going into how you can have a wife that you don't even like. Do you understand? But people want to like, try and make it like that. Oh, but that's dodgy though. Mate, who are you to say that, man? Yahweh's already set the parameters. We ain't the ones to try and say, oh, nah, we're gonna do they you know, like how America did the amendment, the this and that amendment. There ain't gonna be no first amendments of Yahweh's laws, or we're gonna amend that law. Nah, it's gonna be what it is, man. Verse 16, then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn, but he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he hath, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. So people that want to try and come with what they're coming with, they don't know what they're talking about, man. Right? There ain't no cheating. The man got it fair and square, man. Right? All this cheating stuff is either adultery or it's not. All this he cheating on me stuff that y'all want to come with, he either committed adultery or he didn't. Right? Now, according to what the actual adulteries in the scriptures is, where a man slept with another man's wife, every man on this earth, pretty much, if he's slept with even one woman, has committed adultery, because more than likely the woman that he got with when he met her was not even a virgin. So even a man that's only slept with one woman in his world can potentially be an adulterer. Never mind with men that have slept with plenty of women. Never mind that. Right? But I just wanted to talk about that anyway, man. Like, people don't really actually understand adultery, and women are the main ones that don't understand. They talk all this cheating stuff. Cheated this, cheated that. Right? But they don't know what they're talking about, man. And I'm going to end the video there. Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.